morning, the ambassadors. Good morning, Vice President Jens. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to the webinar Regions of Central Asia. My name is Gregor Postel. I'm guiding you to this webinar. The webinar will be in English. I'm very proud that our Vice President, Dr. Jens, has time to follow this webinar, and I would now ask him and give him the floor to give his welcome statement. Mr. Jens, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Postel. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me? Yeah. Your Excellency Ambassador Umarov, Your Excellency Ambassador Shubov, Your Excellency Ambassador Kalandar, Your Excellency Ambassador Nurberadiev, Your Excellency Ambassador Faizuleyev. Ladies and gentlemen, dear speakers, dear friends. As Vice President of the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber, I am happy to open and welcome you to today's webinar, Regions of Central Asia. This event was originally planned as a live event with B2B meetings, but due to Corona situation, COVID situation, we have to postpone it several times and finally decided to organize it in an online format as a webinar. And I really do hope that we have very soon a personal meeting, which is much more efficient in my view. I would like to see today's event as a symbol of Austria's good cooperation and close relationship with our friends in Central Asia, and I see a lot of business potential for Austrian companies in that region. All of the 5 Central Asian countries, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, are important and valued business partner for Austria, and our office in Almaty is constantly promoting our bilateral economic and commercial relations and organizes on and offline events and assists Austrian companies to find and realize the business opportunities and increase the Austrian presence in Central Asia. I personally have visited all the 5 countries many times, first as a businessman and later as a Vice President of the Federal Economic Chamber of Austria, together with small and large business delegations. I have to tell you, I like very much this region, and I have a lot of good friends there, and I hope that we can meet together in a personal sense. Out of this personal experience, I know that there's a lot of potential for business and opportunities for trade and investment, which exists in every country and in every province. It is therefore important to provide Austrian and also Central Asian companies a platform to get to know each other, meet and establish new contacts, and refresh existing ones. Today's event is one of these platforms and another step to increase our economic relations. Let me thank all speakers for their participation and valuable input, and I wish all of us an interesting webinar. Okay, thank you very much, and I have to say again, I am really looking forward visiting these countries very soon, hopefully. I like the landscape, I like people, I like the food. So it's really a very good area. and I like the business as well. Thank you.
Thank you, dear Vice President, for the nice words and for the introduction. And I would like now to give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Clemens Machal, who is the commercial counselor in our office in Almaty. Please, Clemens, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you very much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning from Kazakhstan. My name is Clemens Machal, and I'm the Austrian Commercial Counselor for Central Asia, based in Almaty in Kazakhstan. My job is to strengthen Austria's commercial relations with all 5 Central Asian countries, namely with Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. We do this by connecting Austrian companies with potential partners in the region. We provide information, individual support, and platforms for Austrian and local companies to meet and establish first contacts or refresh existing ones. For example, we organize Austrian business delegations or trade fair participations in Central Asia. We bring foreign delegations to Austria or organize webinars like today's. Every year, we also award outstanding business performances of Austrian companies in Central Asia with the Silk Road Biz Award. Last year, 3 award winners were the Austrian companies Herz Armaturen for installing over 100,000 shut-off valves and 10,000 volume flow controllers in Central Asia's highest building in Nur Sultan. Then we had the world's leading supplier of machinery for producing woven plastic packaging, company Stahlinger & Co., who won the largest order in the company's history in Uzbekistan last year. And finally, also the Austrian company Berchtesgaden for setting up a new cheese production line for Uzbekistan's leading milk processing company. If any of you are interested in participating in the next edition of the Silk Road Biz Award, please let me know. The COVID-19 pandemic affects all of us and also our trade and investment relations in the region, but we will overcome this challenge, and Central Asia is and will be a very attractive and interesting region for Austrian companies to do business in all kinds of sectors. I therefore invite all our Austrian participants to explore business opportunities in Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. We closely support you in this endeavor, and you can find all our future events and a lot of useful information on our Austrian website. To our foreign guests, I would like to say that Austria continues to be a reliable and trustworthy partner, and our companies have been working in all your countries for many years. We will do our best to expand our trade and investment relations and count on your support in doing so. Thank you very much to the organizers and to all the participants of today's event, and I wish all of us an interesting webinar. I may now pass the word to Ambassador Umarov from Kazakhstan, and we will start the country presentations in Kazakhstan. Ambassador, please.
Dear Richard Sands, dear Clemens Mahal, organizers of this webinar, thank you very much for giving me the floor. My dear colleagues, excellencies, representatives of the regions of Central Asia, dear webinar participants. It is my great pleasure to warmly welcome the participants of this economic event. It is for the first time ever that the regions of Central Asia are taking part in this important forum. I express my deepest gratitude to the Austrian Economic Chamber for doing this and continuing the practice of holding this forum to develop cooperation among the regions. If I may, I would like to remind that the first forum of regions on the theme Austrian Technologies for Sustainable Development of Kazakhstan was held at the initiative of our embassy together with the Austrian Trade Mission in Kazakhstan in June 2018 in the capital of Kazakhstan. The forum demonstrated that regional cooperation has significant potential to promote investment and export activities. Austria is traditionally one of the most promising economic partners in Europe for my country, for Kazakhstan. So we attach great importance to the development of trade, economic, and investment cooperation between our two countries. The beneficial geographical location of Kazakhstan at the crossroads of Europe and Asia between the two largest markets presents obvious advantages for trade and investment. Kazakhstan has become a modern transit hub in the very heart of the Eurasian continent. The country presents lucrative business opportunities for both transport and logistics companies, as well as manufacturing and service ones. Because of the federal structure of Austria, where individual subjects of the federation have absolute independence, the development of regional partnership becomes one of the effective mechanisms for cooperation between Kazakhstan and Austria. Currently, there are 4 memorandums of partnership signed between the regions of Kazakhstan and Austria, namely East Kazakhstan with the federal state of Styria, Turkestan region with Carinthia, Pavlodar region with Upper Austria, as well as between the cities of Almaty and Graz. As you know, Kazakhstan's policy is aimed at modernizing the country's economy and diversifying it through the modern technologies. We are interested in best practices of Austria in such areas as agriculture and food industry, energy efficient construction and green technologies, digitalization and technological know-how, and many, many others. The honorary consuls of Kazakhstan in 8 federal states of Austria can provide significant support for the development of regional relations and the implementation of economic projects. I would like to assure you that I and my team are open to new ideas and proposals for the development of mutually beneficial cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that promising ideas for further interaction between our 2 countries will be considered and presented during this webinar. I believe that the contacts established today will really contribute to the development of trade, economic, and investment cooperation, and of course intensify ties between the business circles of our countries to increase the number of joint projects. In conclusion, I wish each and everyone present today new achievements and promising projects, and let me use this opportunity to extend my warmest seasonal greetings to all of you and your families. I thank you for your attention, and now I would like to pass the floor to the next speaker, to Mr. Mukhtar Mankeyev, First Deputy Akim of the Western Kazakhstan region. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Umarov. Hello, everyone. So, dear Excellencies, dear participants of this online. It's my pleasure to give a short presentation about Western Kazakhstan. So may I start from the slide number 3, because you very well know about generally the data about Kazakhstan. So practically, please, can you put slide number 3? So the West Kazakhstan, yes, this next slide, number 3. One more, please. One more. Yes. So the West Kazakhstan and the city Uralsk, which is administrative city of West Kazakhstan, we are the most western region of Kazakhstan and the nearest to the Europe. And the market within the radius of 500 kilometers from the Uralsk or from the West Kazakhstan, generally it's around 16 million people. So it gives a huge opportunity for different kind of business. The airport, which is a main connection for us, we are building currently the new building for the airport terminal. And actually we have a direct flight from Uralsk to Frankfurt once in a week. So which gives also us the great opportunity to make a good connection. And generally we are located in the road or cross-board of different kind of logistic roads, which comes from the tracks, for the railroad and the airport. Next slide, please. The biggest, next slide. The biggest advantage for us is to have a huge manufacturing potential, which is shown here. So as the organizers already told us, you can receive this presentation by email, so I wouldn't stop and save our time. So all figures shown here are our welfares, and you can utilize it during the processing of different kind of products and materials. The next slide, please. One of the priority for West Kazakhstan currently is the agriculture or agro-industrial complex. So we have a clear plan for 5 years how we will develop the agriculture industry in Uralsk and in West Kazakhstan. So currently we have over 4 million hectares of land reserved for different kinds of projects. And you can see here that different kind of also potential hectares of land you can utilize for pastures. We have deposits of almost 500,000. We have different kind of perennial plantings, which could be also utilized for the farming purpose. On the next slide, there are some numbers for the livestock. So currently, there are 2 numbers. So the first one comes for the existing numbers of livestock, like a cow, horse, sheep, etc. And the plan by 2025, you can see as the second number. So, for instance, we are number 2 in Kazakhstan by having the highest numbers of the cows. So 660,000 cows are in Western Kazakhstan, and our plan to increase it over 800 million. So we will reach, I hope, even 1 million. So it's more pessimistic scenario in our case. So next slide shows that we have a low and very competitive tariffs for legal entities. There are rate of tenge to $1 USD shown in the below. So you can see that for the gas, we are actually producing the gas from our own gas fields. The water, electricity, which is proficient in our region. So water disposal and the garbage removal. So all these figures and numbers gives a good competitive advantage to start business in West Kazakhstan. Next slide, please. It shows the presence of international oil and gas companies in the oblast. Yeah, we do agree that oil and gas, it's the biggest sector of economy currently, not only for West Kazakhstan, but generally for Kazakhstan. But diversifying the economy and developing the new direction, it's our first priority currently. So next slide, we have a biggest oil, gas, and condensate field, which is located in, actually it's one of the biggest in the world. So it's located in Western Kazakhstan. So you can see how many cubic meters of gas we produce in 2019 and our plants. So all of these are, again, I would like to mention that the gas processing and having the low tariff for such source like a gas and energy, it gives a good opportunity to produce a different kind of production, to start different kind of production. The manufacturing industry on the next slide, it is represented by over than 20 different factories in the engineering industry. We have 2 unique shipbuilding plants, which are only located only in Uralsk, I mean in Kazakhstan. We have plants which are producing special vehicles, the concrete production, the construction materials like bricks, etc. But the market requires and the demand of the market is much higher. So we still have a big demand. We still have a big opportunity to start the production of construction materials. How we do support the investors, it shows on the next slide. So we are working with the principle of a single window. So you see that investors in the beginning, we are working like exchanging the investment teasers, which is also shown in this presentation. You will receive that. There are more than 20 or around 30 different practical and concrete investment proposals. So investors only have a first contact. Then we will allocate one person from our investor service center, and they will help you during your implementation of the project. On the next slide, it's our one single window, single window. So invest07.gov.kz. You can get all data from Kazakhstan. And finally, if you can put slide number 23, I would like to highlight one of the investment teasers, slide 23, please. So there are many different kind of potential investment projects. But practically, milk processing factory, I know that in Austria there are good modern companies which are interested and could be investors. So you will receive this presentation, the next slide, just to show that according to the Deloitte analysis, which is provided by Kazakh Invest, we have the highest IRR rate among our oblasts in Kazakhstan, among our regions. So it's 23%. So please get this presentation, go through all our investment teasers, which is shown in this presentation. There are all our contacts. And if you have any questions, we are always ready to answer. Thank you very much. And I would like to give the floor to my colleagues from the Union of Machinery Buildings of Kazakhstan, Mr. Yermek Tentek.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Yermek Tentek. I represent the Association of Kazakhstan Machinery Industry. I'm kindly asking to turn on my slides. Dear Mr. Shams, Mr. Clements, partners from Austria, Central Asian states, it is indeed my pleasure to be here as a speaker, as a representative of my organization. Okay, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to our organization. The Association of Kazakhstan Machinery Industry has over 600 companies with overall amount of 60,000 workers, which makes us one of the largest industries in Kazakhstan. We have 17 regional offices, one in every region in Kazakhstan. Furthermore, the most important and major goal of our association is to support and develop the machinery industry. Next slide, please. Today, the relations between Kazakhstan and Austrian machinery demonstrates positive dynamics. We held a number of meetings with the Ambassador Campbell and with the commercial attaché, Mr. Mahal. Furthermore, we have very strong relations with our Austrian partners. For instance, in October, we organized Austrian Kazakhstan Business Council. As a result, we signed up an agenda for 2021. And in 2021, we'll have mutual events. For instance, in February, we'll have Upper Austria and Pavlodar region food industry event. Likewise, in March, the parties agreed to participate in International Machinery Forum in Vienna. In addition, the online meeting of prospects of agriculture development and prospects of new technologies will happen in May and June, respectively. Finally, the next slide, please. The parties agreed to participate in 9th Forum of Kazakhstan Machinery Manufacturers. The forum today has over 1.5 thousand visitors annually with more than 20 countries. We hold this forum every year. Furthermore, and this year, we'll have the exhibition, which is called Kazakhstan Machinery Fair 2021. The major goal of this forum is to unite government and business. Likewise, the strategy of development of machinery industry will be discussed in this forum. Therefore, dear ladies and gentlemen, partners from Austria and Central Asian republics, we have lots of goals in 2021. We're certainly convinced that our relations will get stronger and it will be mutually beneficial for Austria and other Central Asian states. Thank you very much for your attention and God bless you all. And now I'll pass for my colleague, Mr. Isabega. He's the project manager of Kazakh Invest. Thank you.
Dear colleagues, dear participants, my today's presentations will include introduction to the measures of investment support as well as the assistance provided by Kazakh Invest. Next slide, please. So why Kazakhstan is a desired destination for business? As you know, Kazakhstan is a country with rich resources. A very important aspect is a traditional presence in Kazakhstan of political stability and friendly relations with all countries of the world. Next slide, please. Strategic location. Market opportunities is one of the key factors for business decision makers. So let me highlight that Kazakhstan has direct access to the market of more than 500 million consumers, including the countries of Central Asia, Western China, and the Caspian Basin. One of the key advantages of Kazakhstan is its favorable geographical position between Europe and Asia, which is a significant transport and logistics potential. Transportation allows transferring goods from China to Europe 3-4 times faster than by sea routes. Next slide, please. Kazakhstan is currently ranked 25th in the World Bank's Doing Business, climbing up by 11 places in just 2 years. Particularly, Kazakhstan comes fourth in the world for enforcing contracts and 7th for protecting minority investors. Next slide, please. The combination of all the main factors is expressed in continuous improvement of the investment climate. Since 1991, Kazakhstan has attracted over $350 billion of FDI. Top 10 investors you can see on the slide. Next slide, please. Many of the world's largest multinational companies chose Kazakhstan for expanding their operation and opening production locally. The list of the largest investors includes not only enterprises in the mining and oil and gas sectors, but also textile and food producing companies in the chemical and mechanical engineering industries, as well as infrastructure and transport companies. Next slide, please. Currently, Kazakh Invest is working on more than 230 projects with foreign investments of $34 billion. 30% of all the projects are being implemented in the cities of Nur-Sultan, Almaty, and Shymkent. The rest of the projects are being implemented in other regions of Kazakhstan. On the slide, you can see the main industry specialization of our regions. Next slide, please. In the Republic of Kazakhstan, investors' rights are given the top priority and protection at the highest level. We have developed multiple platforms to communicate and effectively solve arising issues. The Foreign Investors Council, chaired by the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the Coordination Council, and the Council on Improvement Investment Climate, chaired by the Prime Minister. Moreover, the Prime Minister performs the function of the Investment Ombudsman, which office is based in Kazakh Invest. Next slide, please. In accordance with the global best practices, we have 13 special economic zones with a wide range of investment preferences. We also have 24 industrial zones with turnkey infrastructure. Next slide, please. Our organization, Kazakh Invest, is a unified investment operator of the Republic of Kazakhstan. We provide a full range of services to support investment activities and projects. We provide comprehensive country information, sectoral reviews, set up meetings with central government bodies and local authorities. We have representatives in all regions. Important service is business matchmaking. We assist in searching for a strong local partner. In general, we guide investors all the way through the project implementation stage. Next slide, please. Kazakh Invest constantly analyzes the investment opportunities of Kazakhstan, identifies potential niches and projects attractive to investors. Today, we are ready to offer specific projects in various sectors, together with our full support to the Austrian investors. We have prepared more than 100 investment proposals. And the last slide, I hope this presentation has given you some understanding of investor support system of Kazakhstan. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador Umarov. Thank you, speakers of Kazakhstan. I have now just only one question, which is addressed to Mr. Dentek. So if Mr. Dantek could answer this question, you were talking about some events together with Austrian companies in the machine industry. You mentioned in February there would be an event with Austrian companies in the food sector. The question is, beside the food sector, in which other sectors you see biggest opportunities to cooperate for Austrian companies with Kazakh companies in the machine industry? Sorry, we can't hear you. Can you speak louder or switch on your microphone?
Thank you very much.
Okay, now it's okay.
For the question. See lots of opportunities. Yeah.
Sorry, we can't hear you now. Can you repeat once again?
Thank you very much for the question. We see lots of opportunities in agriculture sector. That's number one for us to develop. Furthermore, we are ready to our Austrian partners, wide range of projects, pretty much every. Now? Okay, thank you. Excellent. Very much for the question. We see a lot of opportunities for Austrian partners. First, we see agriculture sector as a driver right now, and it's one of the most interesting for right now. Furthermore, we see lots of other projects, the industry, the milk industry, and lots of other. So we're ready to work with our partners pretty much in the industry. And also we always offer the machinery industry projects and opportunities as well. So I'm ready to teach and everyone.
Okay, thank you very much. I asked the participants to ask further questions, so now we got only one question. So for the other countries, please feel free to ask further questions. Even for Kazakhstan, we will then send it later on to the experts to answer them. I would now like to switch to our next country, the Kyrgyz Republic, and I would now like to give the floor to the Ambassador Jusupov and ask for his welcome statement. Please, Ambassador.
Thank you, Mr. Poster. Good morning, Excellencies, dear colleagues, dear Dr. Schenz. First of all, I would like to thank the colleagues from the Austrian Chamber, Dr. Richard Schenz and his able team for organizing today's webinar. Secondly, I'm really delighted to see so many representatives from the Austrian business, from the Austrian friends who are really interested in Central Asia, in Central Asian region. The region which is getting more and more integrated, the region which represents unity and at the same time diversity. The region with the market of almost 80 million population. Today, as other countries of the Central Asia, Kyrgyzstan will also make some presentations of the potential in Kyrgyzstan. If I may, I will stop just briefly in some of the areas which are being interested for the Austrian companies, which have really potential in boosting economic cooperation between Kyrgyzstan and Austria. First, it's energy sector. Of course, as for now, Kyrgyzstan uses only about 10% of the existing potential of the mini hydroelectric power plants. There is great interest from the leading Austrian companies as Andritz Hydro, as Voice, as Global Hydro, who are already started to implement some projects and who are also exploring the ways to see some of the interesting investment projects in this area. The second is tourism. Winter tourism, summer tourism. It's attracting, first of all, of course, Austrian tourists for skiing, hiking. Kyrgyzstan is famous with its great mountains. Some of the mountains are more than 7,000 altitude. So first of all, attracting tourists, and secondly, of course, bringing an expertise, Austrian expertise to this to this area, infrastructural expertise. The third issue I would like to also mention is the food processing and food processing industry. Kyrgyzstan is still an agricultural country with its bioproducts, and we need an Austrian leading expertise in this area, Austrian technologies to the food industry. There is an interest of some companies. For instance, Wirtschaftsraumes now is exploring some of the opportunities in 2 regions of Kyrgyzstan. And we should not also forget that Kyrgyzstan is the country who gained the status of GSP+, General System of Preferences, on which the products made in Kyrgyzstan could be exported to European Union countries with reduced or zero rate tariffs, custom tariffs. The other area is IT. There is a big interest of Austrian small and medium-sized companies. One of them is Bitmedi, and some other companies who are interested to, who are exploring some of the projects in this area, bringing new technologies, bringing digital technologies to starting from the social sphere, education, medicine, e-government issues, and ending also with some infrastructural projects, bringing IT and new technologies to some of the big infrastructural projects. And we should not forget also the location of Central Asia as a whole. The Central Asia is between East and West. If we say about Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyzstan is the member of the Eurasian Economic Union. Eurasian Economic Union is the union with market of 180 million population. Kyrgyzstan is the direct border of China, as some other countries of Central Asia. So these issues creates an added value and added interest of the Austrian companies, of Austrian friends to the Central Asia and to Kyrgyzstan specifically. These last years, we are continuously, with great help of the Economic Chamber, organizing the business trips of Austrian companies to the area, to Kyrgyzstan specifically. It happens in September or October. Unfortunately, this year we could not organize this event, but we were lucky to organize at the very beginning of this year, before pandemic, the Intergovernmental Commission, Kyrgyz-Austrian Intergovernmental Commission, and also B2B meetings here in Vienna. It was in January. I think it was a great success, and I hope that today's event, today's webinar, unfortunately, which is being held virtually, it will be also one of the points which will create an additional interest, an additional factor to foster Kyrgyz-Austrian and economic relations, and to attract more Austrian friends to the Central Asian region. I hope to see you all in the nearest future in person. And our embassy, Kyrgyz agencies, Kyrgyz ministries are always ready to welcome Austrian friends in Kyrgyzstan. I thank you, and now I will give the floor to my colleagues from Kyrgyzstan to make some presentations. The first speaker is Sabina Alımbayeva. She is the Investment Promotion and Protection Agency of the Kyrgyz Republic. Please, Sabina.
So thank you. Good morning and afternoon, dear participants of the webinar Regions of the Central Asia. Let me thank you all the organizers for this meeting, because this is the good platform for improving our contacts between the Austria and Central Asian countries. In this regard, I would like to make the presentation about the investment opportunities of the Kyrgyz Republic. So let's start. The Kyrgyz Republic is, the next slide, please. Thank you. The Kyrgyz Republic is a landlocked country in the Central Asia that consists of 7 regions. The capital of the Kyrgyz Republic is Bishkek. Kyrgyz Republic population is more than 6.2 million people, and the key industries of the Kyrgyz Republic that possess huge investment potential are agricultural sector, hydro energy, tourism, and textile processing. So the investments are, the next slide please. The investments are the major prerequisite for economic development of the Kyrgyz Republic. Therefore, investment legislation of the Kyrgyz Republic is quite liberal and competitive among the other Central Asian countries. Legislation provides a broad scope of rights and guarantees to foreign investors, including guarantees of export and repatriation of investments and property of the Kyrgyz Republic, guarantees of protection against investment expropriation and reimbursement of losses incurred by investors, guarantees of income use and freedom of monetary transactions, and others. So the Kyrgyz Republic provides transparent and favorable business environment. Throughout the independence of the Kyrgyz Republic, significant number of reforms were carried out in the field of entrepreneurship and creation of the favorable conditions. So the path of a market economy with an open market was chosen, and the business as the main competitive participant in this market got used to it and became the main engine of the economic development. So the investment visa grants for foreign investors with the right to freely enter, live and move within the country. The purpose of the stay in the Kyrgyz Republic is the development and management of their own business that are directed to the improvement of the investment climate. So one of the most important characteristics of the Kyrgyz labor market is the fast-growing working population, which is underpinned by the country's high birth rate. So the cost of electricity is $0.00 per kilowatt per hour. That means be one of the cheapest costs of the Central Asian region. So the Kyrgyz Republic also is the strategic transit country of the Central Asian region, and the main freight transportation roads are located along its territory. And for today, land transport of the Kyrgyz Republic, as well as fast developing railroad network and growing air traffic system play important role in establishing links between Europe, the CIS countries, and the Asia region countries. So the next slide is about the preferential trade regimes. So as was told earlier, the Kyrgyz Republic is a member of several regimes. So first of all is GSP plus regime, allows the Kyrgyz Republic access to markets of 500 million people, 28 countries with 0% of custom duties. So also is a member of Eurasian Economic Union, so that market is over nowadays 184 million people, 5 countries, and 0% of custom duties. So overall, above mentioned regime will allow the investors enter to huge markets with population of over 1 billion people. So the next slide is about high technology park that is a special tech zone that covers the whole country, aimed at supporting first of all software development, then computer science, education, and export of IT services. So next slide presents the electronic system Tunduk that is an information system and allows state and municipal agencies as well as legal entities to exchange data necessary to render services to citizens and an organization in the electronic form. So the purpose of this project is to increase management and efficiency within the governmental agencies. The next slide is about the international rankings. So you can see according to 3 international rankings, Kyrgyz Republic is on the 80th rank according to the doing business, 81st rank according to the index of economic freedom, and B2 stable according to the Moody's. So on the next slide, you can see the international cooperation. Nowadays, the Kyrgyz Republic is a party to bilateral agreements on mutual support, encouragement, and protection of investment, as I told earlier. So these countries and regimes provide foreign investors with a favorable nation treatment as a level international legal relations and create a national-wide business environment. In addition, these documents reinforce the investment protection standards for foreign investors and guarantee the fundamental rights and freedoms such as free transfer of income and payment, guarantees for payment of compensation in the case of expropriation and other, as well as establish the principle of subrogation and incorporate the regulations governing the disputes. So, below is the first list of countries the Kyrgyz Republic has with such bilateral agreements. So on the next slide, as I present the Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, here is a list of here is a list of support that our agency can offer. So first of all, it is the investment attraction, aftercare, export promotion, and investment map promotion. So we work as a one-stop shop principle. So thank you for attention. If you have the question, I am ready to answer. And next, I would like to introduce my colleagues from other governmental agencies. That's Bek Sultan Toktorov from the Department of Tourism of the Kyrgyz Republic that will tell about tourism aspects of the Kyrgyz Republic, and Muhammad Askarov from the State Committee for Industry, Energy and Subsoil Use of the Kyrgyz Republic, and he will tell you about hydropower as an important strategic direction in the development of energy sector of the Kyrgyz Republic. So thank you for attention.
Thank you very much. So is Mr. Askarov ready? If not, yes. Then please, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed Askarov. I'm the head of Projects Preparation and Implementation Unit of the State Committee for Industry, Energy and Subsoil Use of the Kyrgyz Republic. Here I would like to present you the investment opportunities in the Kyrgyz Republic in the sphere of hydropower. Hydropower energy, which is an important strategic direction in the development of energy sector of the country. Please, next slide. On the slide, you can see the basic information about the Kyrgyz Republic. As my colleague said before, the Kyrgyz Republic is a landlocked country located in the Central Asia. The neighboring countries are People's Republic of China in the east and southeast, Republic of Kazakhstan in the north, Republic of Uzbekistan in the west, and Republic of Tajikistan in the south. The total area of the country is approximately 200,000 square kilometers, 65% of which consists of mountains, and almost 90% of the country is located at more than 1,500 meters above the sea level. Next slide, please. Here's the structure of policy and management of energy power sector of the Kyrgyz Republic. As you can see, the power sector is managed by 4 main governmental bodies. The State Committee for Industry, Energy and Subsoil Use of the Kyrgyz Republic develops and implements the state policy in the field of industry, fuel and energy complex and subsoil use. The State Agency for Regulation of Fuel and Energy Complex under the government of the Kyrgyz Republic performs the state regulation of the activities of fuel and energy complex subjects through licensing and setting the tariffs for electricity, heat energy and natural gas.
Well, obviously we are experiencing some technical problems. I would ask the organizer from the webinar. We have a video from Mr. Askarov and also a video from Mr. Doktorov to see. So we'd ask the organizer to switch and to switch to the video, because it looks like that we lost the connection to Mr. Askarov.
Republic is managed by four main government bodies. State Property Management Fund represents the interests of the state as the owner of the state property, executes the state policy on management and privatization of the state property. State Inspectorate for Environmental and Technical Safety is responsible for executive power, performing the state control and supervision of environmental and technical safety. State Committee of Industry, Energy and Subsoil Use of the Kyrgyz Republic is the central executive authority responsible for the development and implementation of state policy in the field of industry, fuel and energy complex and subsoil use. Governmental Agency on Fuel and Energy Complex Regulation is responsible for tariff policies. National Energy Holding Company is managing company that owns the controlling state of the following energy companies. Total installed capacity of hydropower plants is 3070 megawatt. Total combined thermal power plant is 862 megawatt. Total length of 110 500 kilovolt high voltage line is 7,500 kilometers. The total hydropower potential of the country is about 142 billion kilowatt hours, only 10% of which is developed. The Republic occupies the third position in the CIS countries after Russia and Tajikistan. Their priority projects include 18 big hydropower plants and 6 small hydropower plants, with a total installed capacity of 5,760 megawatts. The annual average output of more than 20 billion kilowatts. The most promising hydropower plants include Kambarata 1, Apanarin Cascade, Susamur-Kokomirin, Kazarman Cascade. Kambarata 1 hydropower plant is located on the Narin River, 14 kilometers above the Kambarata 2 hydropower plant with installed capacity of 1,860 megawatts. Apanarin Cascade consists of 4 following hydropower plants with total installed capacity of 238 megawatt, and this hydropower plant is also located on the Narin River. Kokomirin consists of 3 following hydropower plants with total installed capacity of 1,305 megawatt. It is located on the Kokomirin River. Kazarman Cascade consists of 4 following hydropower plants with total installed capacity of 1,160 megawatt. It is located on the side of the Narin River between Alabuka and Kokomirin rivers. Renewable sources of energy also play an important role in the energy sector of the Kyrgyz Republic. The potential of renewable sources of energy is also high, as shown here. Legislation stages of implementation of activities on generation and supply of energy from renewable sources. Most promising small hydropower plants are located throughout the country, the names and capacities shown in the table. The main electricity network scheme of the energy system of the Kyrgyz Republic is represented by 110, 220 and 500 kilovolt high voltage transmission lines and substations accordingly. The country is a part of an ongoing CASA 1000 project aimed to sell surplus electricity to the concerned countries. Thank you for your attention.
Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me present the tourism sector of Kyrgyzstan. Tourism is one of the world's fastest growing industries and a major foreign exchange and employment generation for many countries. It's one of the most remarkable economic and social phenomena. Tourism is one of the industries that requires diversity of people, languages, and cultures that come into contact with each other. Trips to foreign countries involve, in most cases, communication and collection of information. So the country with magnificent Tian Shan and Pamir Alai mountains, Kyrgyzstan, is blessed with a stunning variety of landscapes and ecosystems, including lofty mountain peaks and glaciers, alpine pastures and lakes, flower-covered valleys and rivers, arid canyons and semi-deserts. Though 94% of the territory of Kyrgyz Republic are occupied with Tian Shan mountains with unique touristic resources, as a secure and hospitable people that keeps the disappearing way of life of ancient nomads. Kyrgyzstan is occupied with 29 peaks over 4,000 meters and 45 over 3,000 meters. Its dramatic scenery lives up to its pledge as the land of celestial mountains. For climbers, the country boasts some of the highest points in the world, the famous Lenin, Pobeda, and Han Tengri peaks, which towering more than 7,000 meters above the earth. More than 15 national parks and forests present nature. There are more than 2,000 high-altitude lakes nestled in Kyrgyzstan Tian Shan mountain range. Lake Songkul, at more than 3,000 meters above sea level, draws visitors from around the world. Several yurt camps along its shores. Despite the abundant natural, historical, and cultural endowment, tourism remains a rather marginal sector of Kyrgyz economy. As for leisure tourism, the most demanded tourist product is vacations at Issyk Lake, which attracts tourists mostly from the CIC countries and also European countries. The next most popular product is cultural and adventure tours, preferred by tourists from European countries and also USA and Japan. And the most popular adventure product is trekking, and also you can find climbing, biking, horse riding, rafting, and skiing. The next product is cultural and adventure tours, preferred by tourists from distant European countries. Many cultural tourists visit Kyrgyzstan as a part of the Central Asia countries as one trip of a Silk Road tour. Aside from the air tickets, the main tourism products in the segment are accommodation and food. The role of tour packages and group tours is therefore modest. Lake Issyk, the second deepest lake in the world, at 668 meters, offers visitors a touch of beach experience at the center of the great Asian landmass. Mountain sea breezes, clean air, abundant solar.
So we are now finished with the part of Republic of Kyrgyz. I have one question, and maybe the ambassador is here to answer the question. There was one question from an Austrian company. If the Kyrgyz government may use Austrian financing for implementing projects, for example, export loan and soft loans. Do you know something about this?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Postel, and thank you very much for the experts for this question. Kyrgyzstan and Austria have two main cooperation agreements in terms of economy and investment promotion. Of course, it's first avoiding of double taxation, and second about the attracting and protecting the investments. So we signed this agreement and we had this. And regarding the specific question, of course, we have direct agreement with Austrian Control Bank. Austrian companies and Kyrgyz companies, they jointly have the eligibility to attract Austrian soft loans to implement some export projects, for exporting some technologies, to implement some direct projects in Kyrgyz Republic. As far as I know, there is a couple of companies who are at this time have direct communication with Austrian Control Bank, have communication with Ministry of Finance of the Kyrgyz Republic and other stakeholders to implement some of the projects in this area. So this floor is open. There is a great opportunity also to use these fundings, of course.
Thank you very much. This sounds very promising. So I hope that after this webinar, we have also other questions, but unfortunately, time is very limited. We will answer them later on. So I would now ask and welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador from Tajikistan, Ms. Kalandar. I would ask him to switch on his web camera and his microphone. I already see him. And please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Postel, dear Mr. Richard Schenz, dear Mr. Clemens Machal, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning to all of you, and also I welcome all our colleagues from the capitals in Central Asia. First of all, I would like to thank the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber for initiating and organizing today's virtual webinar. Of course, as Mr. Schenz has already noted, we had quite a long journey until we came together in this virtual discussion because of new pandemic and COVID-19 issues. Of course, the pandemic has put certain burden to furthering our cooperation. It has affected every sector of our economies, and of course, it created frustrations to the process of implementation of agreements achieved during our last meetings, especially the 7th session of the Joint Commission of Tajikistan and Austria, and bilateral economic cooperation, which was held in Dushanbe September last year. At the same time, I think that we have learned a lot to tackle these issues, how to efficiently interact regarding the frustrations created by COVID-19. And our today's webinar is obviously the result of these endeavors. Undoubtedly, today's meeting will facilitate to explore new aspects of economic cooperation between the countries of Central Asia and Austria, the region. It is encouraging that the government of Austria and also the companies put an interest to develop, to expand our cooperation with our region. The region, which is, of course, share many particularities. At the same time, it is a diverse region, and the government of Tajikistan is ready to expand its collaboration with the Austrian government and with Austrian companies. The government of Tajikistan already in 2002 has introduced its open door policy, which is directed at the implementation of its foreign policy and promote of economic growth with all friendly countries around the world. Within the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we have adopted the Tajikistan National Development Strategy until 2030. Also in 2019, the government has adopted a program of accelerated industrialization, setting a fourth development strategy goal. By this, adding to the previous 3 strategic goals, namely the elimination of transportation deadlock, the achievement of energy independence, and also the ensuring of food security. In 2019, Tajikistan also adopted a program on development of rural areas, development of tourism and traditional national crafts. Being a landlocked country and as a mountainous country, Tajikistan shares many particularities with Austria, and there are quite wide untapped of the opportunities between Tajikistan and Austria for expansion of economic cooperation. Nevertheless, we are confident that our bilateral economic cooperation, especially on those areas in which Austria has gained rich experience would be further developed. Today, particularly today, exchange of knowledge and expertise, transfer of technology, as well as investment on hydropower sector, on development of tourism, particularly geotourism, mountainous tourism, development of winter sports, food processing, light and chemical industries are of utmost importance for Tajikistan. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to invite presenters from the capital, from Dushanbe, to deliver their presentations on the prospects of economic, trade, investment, and tourism cooperation. In our today's webinar, Tajikistan will be represented by the representatives of the Ministry of Industry and New Technologies, Ministry of Economic and Development and Trade, as well as Committee of Tourism Development under the Government of the Republic of Tajikistan. First, I would like to give the floor to the representative, to the head of the International Economic Relations Department, Ministry of Economic Development and Trade of the Republic of Tajikistan, Mr. Dilshod Sharifi. Please, Dilshod, the floor is yours.
Hello, this is an utmost pleasure for me to participate in today's event. Hello, Mr. Postal, Mr. Shens, Mr. Mashal. Greet all the distinguished participants and express my gratitude to the organizers of this webinar for the opportunity to exchange views on regional cooperation and further sustainable development with the Republic. Relations are developing dynamically and cover a variety of areas. I sincerely hope that this event will contribute to a noticeable intensification of economic cooperation between our countries and the strengthening of our integration into the world economic relations. Today, coronavirus infection has negatively impacted not only global health systems, but also the global economy. Just in 9 months of 2020, the economic growth of the Republic of Tajikistan amounted to 4.2%, which is less by 3.3 percentage points than in the same period last year. The main driving forces of economic of the industry 1.7% compared assured by the growth of volumes in the manufacturing industry, steam and conditioning by points production in the first 9 months of 2020 increased by 8.1% against the level of the corresponding period of last year, including the volume of crop production during this period increased by 8.1% and livestock by 8.4%. The foreign trade activity of the Republic this year has developed under the influence of factors that determine the overall development of the world economy. That means the spread of the coronavirus pandemic, a slowdown in business activity and world trade, a decrease in world prices for many types of raw materials and metals, including export items of the Republic of Tajikistan. Foreign trade turnover for 9 months of this year increased by 8.3% compared to the same period of last year, and it amounted to $3.4 billion. The volume of exports in January and September of this year increased by 1.5 times, while the volume of imports decreased by 6.6%. The volume of export from Tajikistan to foreign countries amounted to $1.2 billion, and imports were $2.2 billion. What about our relations with our friends from Austria? In 9 months of 2020, the Tajik-Austrian trade and economic relations developed as follows. The foreign trade turnover between Tajikistan and the Republic of Austria for 9 months of 2020 amounted to 13.99 million US dollars, 100% of which comes to imports from Austria. There is an increase in imports in the last period of 2019 by 11.9%. The share of trade with the Republic of Austria in the total foreign trade turnover of the Republic of Tajikistan is 0.04%. The circle of cooperation is expanding, and this gives an optimistic forecast for the future of our relationship. We are also interested in establishing contact between entrepreneurs of the two countries. Excuse me. We have a tremendous opportunities to establish joint ventures and enterprises, produce competitive products, and export to the European market. As of January 1st, 2020, with an Austrian share in the registered Republic of Tajikistan. A number of Tajik-Austrian joint ventures are already operating, developing. And this is far from the entire potential of the Republic of Tajikistan promotes official cooperation, attracting using modern equipment and technologies. Process 80,000 tons of cotton fiber per year. Given the huge resources, coal and gas, we could jointly implement projects in the energy sectors. I would like to note the positive shifts in cooperation in the fields of science, education, and healthcare. Scholarships have been established for scientists and students of Tajik universities to study in Austria, which will allow the establishment of close cooperation in the field established for the Republic of Tajikistan and pharmaceutical companies in Austria in the field of medicine. With the support of the Federal Ministry of Science, Research and Economy of Austria, the Tajik State Park international scientific events. At present, 15 manufacturing enterprises of Austria have registered in the Republic of Tajikistan a total of 35 names of medicines and medical goods. Austria, being a tourist country, could become a good partner in the tourism business of Tajikistan as well. And this is far from the final list of the areas of our cooperation. I sincerely hope that today's conference will provide an opportunity to discuss issues regarding mutually beneficial cooperation and financial decisions. We invite our Austrian colleagues to participate because and very promising future. Thank you very much for your attention. At this point, if no questions to me, I would like to invite Ms. Rahim Soda, the representative of the Ministry of Technologies, Ministry of Industry and New Technologies of the Republic of Tajikistan. Thank you for your attention.
Good day, dear guests and participants of the Regions Central Asia webinar. First of all, let me express my gratitude for organizing such an important event and wish you the best results. Taking this opportunity, I would like to inform you a brief information about the prospects of the industry of the Republic of Tajikistan. Today's industry of Tajikistan represents more than 90 industrial areas and over 104 types of products in the area of mining and construction materials, light and chemical industries, mechanical engineering, coal and food industries. Tajikistan's industries development requires resolving issues on introduction of modern and new technologies, strengthening the economic relations between countries, establishment of science intensive and high-tech product development of preparation and capacity building of qualified personnel. The national strategy of the Republic of Tajikistan for the period 2030 provides the transition from development middle from an agrarian industrial to an industrial agrarian country, which is the first strategy of the economic development of our country. The key industrials are mining, chemical, light, metallurgical, transport, and construction materials industries. 5 free economic zones were opened by the government, and a number of economic privileges have been given to people. If investors want to invest in the field of industry, they exempt from tax and customs duties as well as other administrative barriers. Moreover, to strengthen the trade development between neighboring countries, Tajikistan expands its transport facility and connecting its territory to neighbors with quality highways and railways. Tajikistan is a landlocked country and 93% of the territory is mountains and a rich in useful processes. Next slide, please. Mining production consists of enterprises for the extraction and processing of gold, silver, lead, antimony, lead, tungsten, and coal, oil, gas, rock, salt, rare and renewable metals, precious, and decorative stones, construction materials, and mining chemical raw materials. More than 600 useful minerals have been identified, which more than 100 have been mastered. The discovered deposits of silver, strontium, bone, and antimony are the last in the Commonwealth of industry, and feldspar and lead in Central Asia, and rock salt on a global scale. Also, production reserves of copper, mercury, lead, bismuth, aluminum, as well as raw materials for aluminum production have been established. Next slide, please. Light industry remains a priority sector as based on the processing of local raw materials, particularly from fragrance, raw hides, and wool, and provides employment for the population, especially women and youth. Taking into account the existing local raw materials and establishment of full value chain process of cotton fiber within the country, Tajikistan is interested in cooperation in this direction through the creation of joint ventures in the territories of failed economic zones. Next slide, please. Construction materials industry. Tajikistan has a large resource of non-metallic raw materials for the more than 400 fields have been discovered on the territory of the Republic, combining 30 areas of raw materials: Kevlar, granite, diorite, marble, limestone, gypsum, stone, quartz, sand, and others. The concern grows in the volume and range of products was greatly influenced by the presence of huge reserves of construction raw materials in Tajikistan, as well as the attraction of foreign investment. Next slide, please. The food industry. The food industry is a complex of industrial enterprises for grain processing, production, soft drink, fruit and vegetable, food, confectionery, alcoholic beverage, alcohol, vegetable, oil, meat, and dairy products, and other food products, using both domestic and imported raw materials. Promising and rich resources of raw materials enable demand to products in local and outside markets, especially for soft drinks, food, and vegetables, cannot, vegetable oil meats, and dairy products, alcoholic beverage, and ethyl alcohol are the most important factors to increase the production volume of enterprises in order to cover local market and to develop export potential of the food industry. Next slide. Machine building. Industrial engineering, defense, and chemical industries are one of the most volumes, extensive, complex areas, and mainly include production of aluminum, processing of ferrous and non-ferrous metals, production of various machinery, agricultural machinery, production machines, and the equipment, business, electrical equipment, and production of spare parts for the line, technological production of cement, and line equipment for the processing of mining minerals. Next slide, please. Priority directions in the industry. A reliable of deposits, resource, transport line, video energy, resource capacity, and necessary infrastructure potential to increase of production, local raw material, including person, people, labor, goal and domestic demand in finished products, related to the labor cost, favorable conditions for creation new enterprises. Tajikistan defining its strategic objectives and implementing an open door policy in the face of new realities, strives to achieve the competitiveness of the economy. Dear participants of the forum webinar, let me once again express my deep gratitude for the organizers and express the readiness of the Ministry of Industry and Technology to implement and support investment projects aimed to strengthen mutual beneficial cooperation. We are always ready for fruitful cooperation with foreign entrepreneurs and investors in all above mentioned areas. There are a huge potential to develop mutual beneficial projects and programs and thus introducing and implementing a scientific achievements in production, innovative technology, and market of economic sectors. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize once again that Tajikistan has treated all that prosperous conditions and that allow investors to invest on a mutual beneficial basis, and our doors are open. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye and stay safe. Just the head of international relations section, Committee of Tourism Development under the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, Mr. Imam Nadam, will tell you about potential prospects of your country. Thank you.
Dear distinguished guests, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, it's my immense pleasure to attend this video conference and delivering presentation about Tajikistan tourism opportunities and development strategy in order to bring the attention of Australian investors, entrepreneurs, visitors, and travelers to the tourist potentials of Tajikistan. Next slide, please. We are starting from the geographical position of Tajikistan. Republic of Tajikistan is located at the heart of Central Asia. It should be noted that 93% of territory of the Republic of Tajikistan is occupied by high mountains. Tajikistan is neighboring with Uzbekistan from the west north, and it's neighboring with Afghanistan from the south, and with Kyrgyzstan from the north, and with People's Republic of China from the northeast. Next slide, please. The Committee for Tourism Development under the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, as a Republic Authority and part of the government of the Republic of Tajikistan, is established very recently at the beginning of 2017 as per message of the leader of the nation, the head of the state, His Excellency Mr. Imam Ali Rahman, to Parliament of the country. The Committee for Tourism Development under the government of the Republic of Tajikistan has been established with the purpose to better introducing the tourism resources, better introducing the image of the country. Tourism infrastructure development, improving quality of service, expanding state regulation process, and support for attracting more investment. Also, capacity building, preparing skilled and qualified personnel. Next slide, please. The legal base of tourism in Tajikistan mainly consists of the law on the tourism, which was very recently adopted by the Parliament of Tajikistan in 2020. It's worth mentioning that the previous law on tourism, which was adopted by the Parliament in 1999, before the establishing Committee for Tourism Development, needed some addition and amendments. Another main document for the development of tourism is strategy for tourism development under the government of the Republic of Tajikistan until the period of 20th Republic of Tajikistan in 2018. As a legal visa law on the tourism 2020 strategy for tourism development under the government of the Republic of Tajikistan until the period of 2030, state tourism development program for the period of 2018 plan for the implementation of the years of rural tourism 2019 and 2021 international agreement on tourism in foreign countries. Next slide, please. As the year 2019 and 2021 declared the years of rural development, tourism, and folkcraft. A year before this declaration in 2018, here had been announced a year of tourism development and folkcraft. The reforms for supporting tourism will offered by the government of the Republic of Tajikistan as a main contribution for supporting tourism sector. So, according to newly adopted reforms, tourist companies are exempted from the profit tax and value-added tax during their first 5 years of activity. Equipment and construction materials imported for the purpose of construction and reconstruction of tourism infrastructure, like hotels, sanatorium, tourist centers, and other tourist infrastructure, are exempted from the VAT and custom duties. Import of new cars and vehicles are exempted for 50% from the custom duties. E-visa system since January 2016 expanded geography of tourists from the 60 countries on 2015 to 110 countries on 2019. Next slide, please. The recreational tourism, ecotourism, agritourism, ethno-tourism, wine tourism, family tourism, sport tourism, business tourism, cultural and historical tourism, children and youth tourism, health tourism, and pilgrimage tourism have a high priority among other tourism sectors in Tajikistan. Next slide, please. Austria and Tajikistan have productive intergovernmental ties. Bilateral relations between our countries are traditionally built in the framework of the mutually beneficial cooperation and in general are successfully developing in the political, economic, scientific, technical, cultural fields, among others. Today, the interests of our countries each other are increasing more and more. Next slide, please. Why foreign tourists choose Tajikistan to visit? Because of untouched, unspoiled, and unrivaled diverse landscape and high natural values, fresh and unpolluted air, hospitality, authentic experience, World Heritage listed sites, safety and security, available infrastructure, and easy tourist visa scheme. Next slide, please. Why foreign tourists choose Tajikistan to visit? Tajikistan is attractive for various types of international tourism, including alpinism, mountain sports, and ecological tourism, rafting, paragliding, as well as historical and cultural tourism. Next slide, please. With the purpose to better introducing the tourism resources, tourist potentials and opportunities of the country, Republic of Tajikistan has attended the world's leading travel trade show ITB Berlin since 2008. The government has organized its touristic space or touristic corners there for the fans of tourism and world travelers. Later, Tajikistan actively participated in other world travel exhibitions like Intermarket Moscow, ITB China, T2. Every year, the travel agencies and tour companies are headed to the different level exhibition in order to show the tourist opportunities of the country to the foreign visitors.
Dear Mr. Imam Sotta, here's Mr. Postel speaking from Vienna. Could I ask you to speed up and come to an end, because we are a little bit lack of time, and I would appreciate, because we have also one question. So when you can finish in 2 minutes, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
We are about finishing now. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. There are more than 200 5-star and 3-star hotels, motels, guest house, homestay, and hotels in the country. That Serena, Dushanbe, Hilton, and Hyatt Regency are on the top place among them. Also, within the framework of the Declaration 2019-2020 Years of Rural Development, Tourism, and Folkcraft, here has been constructing 10 world-class hotels in Dushanbe and hundreds of the hotels in the remote areas. Next slide, please. Tajikistan is generally a safe country for the tourists to visit. All parts of the country are accessible to foreigners, especially visiting Gorno-Badakhshan Autonomous Oblast, and it's located in the eastern part of the country. The country is among the top 5 countries with simplified visa system, including e-visa, and ranks the first in the world in terms of the case of e-tourist visa scheme. Construction of the new reference to make easier tourist visa procedure, including receiving it upon arrival at the airport. Next slide, please. Ismaili Somoni, peak communism is the highest mountain in Tajikistan, and a cherished dream of any mountaineering being one of the most beautiful and interesting, with a 7,000 meters peak climb in the world. Tajikistan runs on bread and tea. Wherever you are, from our custom coast to a shaped hut, there will always be a kettle on the boil and a few Tajik tea bowl filled with a light steaming tea. Tajik cuisine is definitely plenty of the real meats and dairy products, but with the influence from the ancient time. Next slide, please. You may come for just a few hours to even a few weeks, enjoying the landscape, wildlife, local people, and natural fresh fruits in Tajikistan. A variety of activities are available, such as hiking, bird watching, and wildlife photography. While visiting these conservancies, you will see the regional diversity of the Tajik, Pamiri, and Batangi, Shuvni, and Baksh, and other ethnic groups, experiencing how their tradition and environment influence and their architecture, land use, and lifestyle here. Tajikistan has a great tourism potential to attract foreign visitors, with the availability of historical sites, cultural sites, indigenous cuisine, well-reserved nature, and a spirit of the true hospitality. Located on the ancient Silk Road, Tajikistan has more than 3,993 historical and architectural sites, and 1,346 recreational sites, and 556 tourism sites, and 331 religious sites, and any array of other objects within the tourism industry chain. Next slide, please. Dushanbe is undoubtedly a mountain capital, but fast developing city. If you visit the city, you can see a lot of colorful green parks and boulevards. Tens of the modern and bold brand 5-star hotels, markets, shopping centers, and royal nightclubs there. For more information about visa travel and business, please apply to the Embassy of the Republic of Tajikistan in continue supporting of green economy, including renewable energy, green technology, resources efficiency, and harmonizing environmental legislation of the country always is a top priority of the government of the Republic of Tajikistan. Thank you very much once more for amazing opportunity that I delivered presentation about our tourism development and strategy. If you have questions, yeah, here.
Thank you very much. Indeed, there is a question, and there is a question to Ambassador Kalanda. one Austrian company was asking Tajikistan might join the Eurasian Economic Union. Can you tell us about the latest plans? Are there any news regarding this? Did you hear the question?
Yes. Thank you very
then.
much, Mr. Postel, for the question. It is a question which is asked from time to time from different economic partners of Tajikistan, and the question was answered also in several stages by the representatives of governments and the ministries and agencies of Tajikistan. We have very good bilateral ties with all countries of the Eurasian Economic Community. At the same time, we are in the process of learning the experience of those countries who are already the member of this economic union, and it depends on how the results of this research, results of this process will affect the decision which will be made by the government. Nevertheless, as I said, we have efficiently cooperating with all countries on bilateral level, as well as within the framework of other regional organizations such as CSTO, such as Shanghai Cooperation Organization, such as IBM countries, etc. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And with this, I would like to thank you, Ambassador, and the speakers from Tajikistan for the important input. And I want just to apologize, Ambassador Nurberdiev, for this delay, but I would now ask him for his welcome statement. And now we are coming to the country of Turkmenistan. Please, Ambassador.
Thank you, Mr. Postel. Dear Dr. Richard Shantz, dear Clemens Marshall, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the Chamber of Economy of Austria for organizing today's event. This event provides us with a timely opportunity to discuss the potential joint contribution of our countries to the development of trade and economic cooperation. In recent years, we have been actively working to develop the trade and economic cooperation. Important impetus to the development of bilateral relations were the visits of the presidents of our countries. During these visits, the two leaders reaffirmed their readiness to further intensify mutually beneficial cooperation in all areas, including an increase in trade turnover between our countries. Today, Austria, along with other European countries, is one of the most developed countries in Europe and is one of the leaders of the European Union in terms of level and quality of life. It is a highly developed industrial agrarian country that has great potential and opportunities for mutually beneficial long-term partnerships. In this regard, there are good prospects for cooperation in energy, transport and communication, construction, textile, agriculture, and in a number of other areas. The activities of the joint Turkmen-Austrian Economic Commission are called upon to reveal the wide range of directions for long-term cooperation and its full activation. Dear participants of the forum, this forum unites the countries which, being among the most important centers of power in Europe and Asia, traditionally aspire to self-determination and sustainable development. A geographical location such opens wide opportunities for trade, which increases the importance of our countries in the formation of effective cooperation. The next very important point is, of course, the specification of work and trade and economic direction. Here, I would like to note that our countries have a huge potential for more active and full integration into world economic relations, as a place where transport and energy projects are being implemented. A modern infrastructure is being created, and logistics centers of the interregional importance are being created. We consider necessary to take real steps in this direction. I am confident that this answers both our common interests and interests of each country separately. Undoubtedly, for the fulfillment of this task, the development of new approach to joint activities will be required. In this regard, we could consider creating effective partnership mechanisms that allow us to develop economic ties. I am convinced that this approach will complement those forms of cooperation that we have already developed and are functioning between our countries. I would like to emphasize that taking into account the open door policy, Turkmenistan is firmly committed to further development of cooperation, participation in mutually beneficial trade, economic, culture, and humanitarian ties to strengthen cooperation that meets the interests of our countries. I would like to underline that the opening of the representation of the Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs in Vienna has strategic goals. Since its opening, with participation of this representation, a number of joint projects have been implemented. Various presentations, business meetings were organized. Here, I especially would like to thank Mr. Peter Gindel for his contribution in strengthening of the cooperation between the two countries. Dear participants, we hope that our meeting today will contribute to the further promotion of this process. In particular, this event should become the basis of our joint proposals for the benefit of both our countries. When developing such proposals, it's necessary to focus on specific tasks in most important areas of economic cooperation. In conclusion, let me once again to express my high appreciation for organizing this event and wish you a successful meeting and hope the outcome of this forum will be useful for each of our countries. Thank you very much for this for the attention. Now I would like to invite the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce of Turkmenistan, Mr. Dovletkeler Recep, for his presentations. Mr. Recep, please, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear Richard Shines, dear ambassadors, dear participants of the meeting. We are very pleased to see you, Austrian colleagues and colleagues from Central Asia. Our countries are linked by trade, economic, cultural, and humanitarian ties to my great regret in connection with the difficult situation in the world. We have to communicate through a video conference. But let me assure you that as soon as the opportunity arises, we will be glad to see you and your delegation in Turkmenistan. I'm confident that today's meeting will be another step in strengthening our further successful cooperation. And now I'd like to give speech to my colleague who speech about the investment presentation, please.
Good day, dear colleagues. My name is Beliv Atenbes. I'm the head of international department. Let me brief you, inform about the economy of Turkmenistan and tell you about the investment opportunities of our country. Turkmenistan attaches great importance to cooperation with Austria and in general with European Union and other countries of Central Asia. This is evidenced by the political legal ties between our countries, which have been laid a solid foundation for mutual beneficial cooperation, friendship, and understanding. Bilateral contracts are developing effectively in various directions, including through business structures. I would like to say that the interest of foreign companies in strengthening their positions in promising Turkmen market is growing. Please, next slide. One of the topical areas of interstate partnership is such strategic area as transport. Taking into account a favorable geographical position of Turkmenistan and Austria, it seems expedient to cooperate on the creation of international transport and communication corridors to unite the potential of our countries in order to form multi-vector transport infrastructure. Through transport corridors, a very profitable road can be established for both direct deliveries of transit goods. By the way, today our country, as emerging large logistic and transit center, attract foreign investors, given that is important crossroad of trade roads, which serve as a significant to attract the capital. And this is quite natural because for many centuries, the Great Silk Road passed through the Turkmen land. Please, next slide. I also like to inform you that under the Ministry of Finance and Economy of Turkmenistan, the investment portal invest.gov.tm has been launched, which will be great interest to participants. Here you can find the investment map of Turkmenistan, which includes various regions for proposals of investment projects. I would be grateful if this information will be disseminated among the interest business circles of your country. Next slide, please. The key areas for attracting the investments are oil and gas sector, chemical industry, textile industry, agriculture, transport and communications, and also others. Next slide, please. Turkmenistan provides legal protection, guarantees, and benefits to enterprises with foreign investments from the date of registration of investment project. The legislation of Turkmenistan provides state guarantees for the protection of foreign investments. Next slide, please. Here you can see some investment projects that have been implemented in various areas, both large and small. For example, one of the largest investment projects is the urea plant in Karabagaz region of Turkmenistan with annual production capacity of 1,055 tons of product, which was put into operation in June 2018. Investors of this project, consortium of Gap and Shad and Mitsubishi Corporation companies. Next slide, please. Another project is the textile complex for processing silk cotton of Ministry of Textile of Industry of Turkmenistan. Next slide, please. There are also many interesting investment projects in private sector, including food processing, agriculture, industry, building material industry, and others. Next slide, please. Also on this portal and website, you can get also acquainted with the tenders held by the Organization of Turkmenistan, as well as the detailed information. Next slide, please. Dear participants, I would like especially note that the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Turkmenistan launched the first virtual exhibition of neutral Turkmenistan in our country. Here you can find the largest organizations and especially exporters from the public and private sectors of Turkmenistan. Get detailed information about these companies and participants. Exhibition works in Russian, Turkmen, and English. Next slide, please. In conclusion, I would like to say once again that nothing can replace a live meeting. Therefore, as soon as the borders will open, we are ready to receive our Austrian colleagues and delegations from Central Asia countries in Turkmenistan. I wish you good health and success in your work. Thank you very much for your attention. In continuation of our presentation, I would like to give the floor to the founder of Ter Önüm Agricultural Company, Devlet Baliyev. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, dears. First of all, I want to appreciate for this opportunity His Excellency Vice President, Austrian Federal Economic Chambers, and all attenders. You know, dears, first of all, I want to ask the organizers to launch our short video, and after that, I want to explain food and agriculture opportunities regarding Turkmenistan. But if possible, we have two videos. So please, let's watch our short video, please. Thank you for your attention. As you see from our short videos, Turkmenistan is very strong on agriculture because, as you know, Turkmenistan is a really sunny country, and Turkmenistan is well known with amazing unique products in the Turkmen melon. We have more than 465 different melon varieties, and last year we successfully exported with our Austrian partner, tour of company, His Excellency Mr. Peter Gendli, and we tested our Turkmen melon to export to Austria, and Austrian people really like it. This year, unfortunately, because of this Corona-19, we couldn't, but with the opening the situation, stabilization situation, we are planning to increase our exports. Also, our government really invests our agriculture, so Turkmenistan has a huge potential. Only within last 3 years, Turkmen industrials and entrepreneurs opened more than 500 hectare modern hydroponic greenhouse, which is giving yearly yield more than 300 tons from per hectare. And right now, Turkmen industrials and entrepreneurs are building modern greenhouse more than 2,000 hectares. That means within 2 years, our bio and organic products will come up to European market, and also we can do future contracts with our European friends. Also, right now, with Turkmen Agriculture University, our industrials and entrepreneurs testing special products for European market. For example, Kapari is really well known in European market, and right now we are testing also stevia plant. It is for diabetic patients. It is good for. So right now we are testing these products also. And also right now for furniture industries, the Pavonia trees we are testing, and also only within last 3 years, more than 10 million fruit garden we planted in Turkmenistan, so we have huge potential. And at the same time, our industrials and entrepreneurs are building a huge construction. We have Akal City project, industrial entrepreneurs, and Ashgabat City. Also, these projects are also interesting for you. You can directly contact our Union of Industrial Entrepreneurs. We have more than 24,000 members, and also every day we are getting bigger and bigger. And appreciate one more time to our government. As you know, Turkmenistan is the energy country. So our industrials and entrepreneurs for agriculture use, we can get for 99 years land. Government gives for free for 99 years and no tax. Agriculture producers don't pay any tax to government, and processing, food processing has a very big potential because energy is very cheap and no tax, and for 99 years free land. And also for 10 years is with 1 and 5% credit. So it gives a huge potential, huge opportunity to increase our business. So I want to say welcome all our Austrian friends who want to invest in Turkmenistan on agriculture or on other business. All investors' rules are protected by our rules. So we want welcome our Austrian and European friends to invest to Turkmenistan. Thank you for attention.
Thank you very much. Indeed, there is interest from Austrian companies in Turkmenistan, especially Ashgabat, and especially in the projects concerning Ashgabat City and Ahal. There are a lot of construction projects, and when Austrian companies asking, can they participate in these projects? Where are the opportunities, and where do you see the biggest potential for Austrian companies in the projects regarding Ashgabat City and Ahal?
Of course. Please don't state directly contact to our Union of Industrials and Entrepreneurs. We have international department. Also, our European in Europe, in Vienna, we have industrial office in Vienna, so they can contact directly. No problem. You can attend and you can really invest on this project.
Okay, thank you very much. So we will tell the Austrian companies to contact either you directly or Turop in Vienna, or my colleague Mr. Clemens Macher in Almaty, who can also then can address you. Thank you very much. Thank you also, Mr. Ambassador, for the nice opening words. And now we are coming to the next country, to Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan was named Country of the Year 2019 in The Economist, and so I think it's a very potential country. And sorry for the delay, but as we say in Austria, the best comes at the latest. So I would now give the floor to the ambassador of Uzbekistan, Mr. Fasulayev, for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Shens, Mr. Postel, and all participants of today's forum, dear fellow ambassadors, let me, at the outset, express my deepest gratitude to the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber for organizing today's very important event. My colleague, Mr. Oybek Elmuratov, Deputy Director of Investment Promotion Agency of Uzbekistan, will present our country's investment potential and some of its regions in detail. Meanwhile, I would like to highlight the main indicators and achievements of our country in recent years. Uzbekistan currently is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. There are 145 small industrial zones and 21 free economic zones in the country. Despite the pandemic, our government has implemented almost 400 large and regional scale projects this year, and almost 1,000 investment projects are under implementation. This year, $5.5 billion were invested in fixed assets as part of the investment program. As a result, the World Bank predicts that Uzbekistan's economy will grow by 0.8% in 2020. Uzbekistan is a new country now. We are steadily moving towards the market economy via liberalizing our currency, reducing the state regulations, expanding the private sector, building the transparent equity market, as well as providing conditions for true competition. Thanks to the drastic economic reforms in recent years, our country has acquired an exclusively new image of a reliable business partner. Global financial institutions and leading think tanks praise these efforts. For example, as you mentioned, Mr. Postel, The Economist magazine recognized Uzbekistan as the country of the year, the country where reforms in 2019 were carried out most rapidly. In February last year, our country gained an international credit rating and successfully issued Eurobonds for $1 billion for the first time. Today, Uzbekistan is on the verge of obtaining the status of a GSP Plus beneficiary country. This will help to export 6,200 commodity items from Uzbekistan to the EU countries with no taxes, which will provide new opportunities for foreign investors and creating export-oriented enterprises. Recently, our government has announced a new step of deregulation reforms in the economy. We decided to admit foreign investors to the privatization process in Uzbekistan. According to the latest presidential decree, more than 2,000 state assets will go through the transformation or privatization. Major state shares of almost 500 lucrative companies will be sold on public auctions. Besides, to create all the necessary conditions and opportunities for successful business cooperation. Citizens of 86 countries of the world, including Austria, can enjoy a 30-day visa-free regime when visiting Uzbekistan. The pandemic situation in Uzbekistan is also improving. Currently, the country is completely open to the world for both business and tourism purposes. Almost all aviation directions have been restored. Last but definitely not least, I'd like to mention about successful involvement of Austrian businesses in Uzbekistan so far. Currently, 51 enterprises with Austrian capital are operating in Uzbekistan, 27 joint ventures and 24 foreign enterprises. Representative offices of 11 Austrian companies are accredited in Uzbekistan. The Parcel is one of the most successful Austrian companies investing in Uzbekistan since 2018. It has implemented more than 10 investment projects in the Surkhandarya and Navai regions. Now, without any delay, I yield the floor to my colleague, Mr. Oybek Elmuratov, Deputy Director of the Investment Promotion Agency of Uzbekistan. Please, sir, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Ambassador of Uzbekistan. My name is Oybek Elmuratov. I'm a Deputy Director of Investment Promotion Agency under the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Trade of Uzbekistan. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Austrian Federal Economic Chamber and to Vice President Mr. Schenz for initiating and organizing such a important and informatively webinar. I think that it's a very good opportunities for Central Asia countries and Austrian partners to know each other and to know the economic and investment potential of Central Asian countries. And I'd like to start my presentation, and I'll divide two sections. First of all, I would say very briefly about the investment policy of Uzbekistan. I know that maybe some of us tired a little bit because our meeting is quite more than 2 hours is continuing. So next slide, please. It's my pleasure to introduce Uzbekistan as a resource-rich, double landlocked country strategically located in the central part of Great Silk Road. The nominal GDP in Uzbekistan is about $60 billion US. Nowadays, the country exports energy products, cotton, gold, mineral fertilizers, textiles, automobiles, with an amount about $17 billion US, and imports goods equal to $24 billion US. And native language is Uzbek and Russian, and also English, very widely used for now. The capital of Uzbekistan is Tashkent. The population is about 34 million. Next slide, please. Uzbekistan is aspiring once again to become a place of capitalization and integration. Total investment in Uzbekistan in 2019 amounted to 20 billion, including 4.2 billion US dollars FDI. Local investments and loans. FDI in Uzbekistan has been tripled last 4 years. Total amount of FDI in 2020 is 1.8 billion US dollars with 158 implemented projects. Nowadays, more than 67 countries invested in Uzbekistan. The biggest of them you can see in the slide. Next slide, please. It's noteworthy that in last year, Uzbekistan entered to the top 20 countries in the world that achieved the greatest results in improving the business environment. I would like to draw your attention in the doing business ranking, where Uzbekistan increased of 97 points in the last 8 years. In the 2020 ranking, the country achieved one of the best results in protecting minority investors, paying taxes, enforcing contracts and international trade. The Republic included in one of the top 20 global improvers in this ranking. Next slide, please. Moreover, the tax burden on business entities was gradually reduced. It has been established that exclusively laws and acts of President of the Republic of Uzbekistan as a whole for industries, fields of activity, territories, provide tax and customs. Moreover, the tax benefits are provided for the amount of direct private foreign investments, starting from the 300,000 US dollars for 3 years and over the 10 million US dollars for the 7 years. The government creating great reforms in improving investment climate of Uzbekistan. The policy of liberalization, new market mechanism for the formatting of the exchange rate, initiating by the government are key reforms that could be mentioned in order to attract new investments. Next slide, please. And let me now tell briefly about the investment potential of 3 of Uzbekistan regions. And first of all, Khwarezm region. Khwarezm is one of ancient region, not only of in Central Asia, but in the world, I think. And the Ichankala city was included to the list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Uzbekistan. Khwarezm, next slide, please. Khwarezm is one of the most ancient and historical and cultural region. The region borders with Turkmenistan in south and southwest, with the Republic of Karakalpakstan in the west, and the Bukhara region in the southeast. Today, more than 1.8 million people live in the region. It should be noted that territory of the region is more than 6.1 thousand square kilometers. And the administrative center of this region is Urgench city. Regional external trade indicators in 2019 was about 557 million US dollars. Khwarezm is the 11th in terms of population and area, while it's 6th in terms of regional GRP, gross regional products. Next slide, please. Let me draw your attention to the economic indicators of Khwarezm region. It's obvious from the line graph provided in the slides that FDI growth rate in the region remained positive in the last 3 years, and into 2019 had growth rate of 50% in the comparison with previous year. Next slide, please. Let me continue with the attractiveness of the region. There are 7 free economic zones in the region, with, which offers a variety of possibilities to its residents, including provisions of land on free basis, investment preferences, ready infrastructure, guiding the residents, and other privileges. Next slide, please. Next is the Surkhandarya region. Brief information about Surkhandarya region. Next slide, please. Surkhandarya region is the 7th in terms of population and 5th in the area, and 9th ranking in terms of GRP of Uzbekistan. The area of the region is more than 20,000 square kilometers. Population is more than 2.5 million people. And the central city is Termez city. Next slide, please. Let me proceed to the economy of the region. The volume of gross regional products shows a positive development trend every year. For example, in 2017, it was 1.4 billion, while in 2018, it was reached to the 2.4 billion US dollars. Mining industry is considered as a giant in investment and attraction, with a 65% of all investment in the region, while the manufacturing industry has 50% and agriculture is about 13% of the structure. It should be noted that today there are more than 2,000 enterprises, including the 413 with a foreign capital. Over the past period of 2020, 33 enterprises with the foreign investments were created. The main investors are companies from Russian Federation, Austria, Great Britain, China, South Korea, and etc. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, yes. And let me introduce the investment potential of Namangan city. The territory of Namangan is 7,400 square kilometers. Population is more than 2.8 million people. Trade indicators are export more than 225 million US dollars, and import is more than 200 million US dollars. According to statistics, Namangan is 6th in the terms of population, and 9th in the terms of area, and 8th in the terms of GRP. Next slide, please. As for the macroeconomic indicators of the region, it's worth noting that the region's GRP is 2.3 billion in 2019, of which is 45% is in agriculture, 33% in services, and about 22% in industry. It should be mentioned that a large number of existing enterprises, namely 29 of major factors and more than 3,600 plants and 147 joint ventures and other organizations. Next slide, please. And there are the very attractiveness of the region, which include Namangan free zones, Kasansay farm free zones, and 10 small industrial zones in different districts. Free economic zone provides several benefits and privileges which are already mentioned above. Advantages of Namangan region. Namangan has a rapid growth of economy of the region with a state and regional support of such industries as agricultural, food processing, textile, chemical, metalworking industries. Moreover, highly qualified and hardworking people with a developed transport infrastructure. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for your attention. And in the last of my words, I'd like to inform you that we have also the special website invest.go.uz where you can find about 1,000 investment proposals for the amount more than $8 billion US with to the potential investors from Austrian and also from our neighbor Central Asian countries. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ilmuratov. Thank you, the Ambassador Fasulayev. I have one question, but I think, Mr. Ambassador, you already answered it. Is it now possible for Austrian business people to travel freely to Uzbekistan, or do they need some specific documents? Can you tell us once again? Because I think in your opening speech you mentioned that now we can travel freely to Uzbekistan. Is this true?
Thank you very much for your question, Mr. Postel. From the February of 2019, citizens from Austria can visit to Uzbekistan for the 1 month period without any visas.
And even now during the COVID-19 pandemic, it's not a problem, or do they need some certificate, free test that they are not contaminated, or is it now possible without any restrictions?
No, nothing is needed currently, as far as I know. I myself am going to a working trip to my capital next week. I was told nothing is needed currently, and everything is open. We have international flights going to Uzbekistan and back. And even for the last couple of weeks, I've heard several news that even the special hospitals, which were built initially to accept COVID patients, they are now being closed.
Okay,
because of
good news.
Yeah, good news. Hopefully.
Good news. So you said a very important thing, your country is open. I think not only your country, but all 5 Central Asian countries are open for Austrian business people. As we could hear today, there are a lot of potential in all the 5 countries, but they also offer nice touristic destinations. So you probably can connect business with touristic leisure coming to one of these or to all of these 5 countries. And
if I may, Mr. Postel, you are rightly mentioned about other countries too, and if I can tell about the whole regional perspective. So if Uzbekistan is the biggest market in the region with 36 million people, together with other countries of the region, we comprise more than 80 million people. So it's a huge market, and connection and connectivity between the countries of the region is now much better. So Austrian businesses could build the whole chains, in different countries of Central Asia. So one more kind of angle, one more perspective for Austrian businesses who listen us right now. Thank you.
And we have also the same landscape, mountainous landscape, and we are all landlocked countries. So also some other things we have in common. So I would like to thank all the audience for following this a little bit longer than expected webinar, but we got very interesting insights. And as I saw, read also one statement from our former commercial counselor, despite the COVID and pandemic and also economic crisis, it's the right time now to create business contacts and activities with these 5 Central Asian countries. Said this, I also want once again to underline that to get contacts in these 5 countries, the 5 embassies and the ambassadors are ready to help you, as well as our commercial counselor Clemens Machal in Almaty, who is covering all these 5 countries. And of course, we in the headquarters in the Austrian Federal Chamber of Commerce are happy to assist you. And for sure, if some questions are not answered by now, the speakers and the experts who made their presentations today will be delighted to answer them on a later stage. Saying this, once again, thank you very much for your attention, and hopefully we'll see you soon in one of these 5 Central Asian countries, and with good business connections. And also, since we are near to the end of this year, I wish you a Merry Christmas and all the best for the next year. Goodbye from Vienna. Thank you.